Redonner dignité.
To give back some dignity
à ceux qui sont morts,
to those who perished
ici,
here,
et à d'autres qui souffrent,
and to those who
partout
suffer
sur la terre.
in many parts in the world.
Apprendre quelles responsabilités nous avons au quotidien,
We want to learn what is our daily responsibility.
sur quel levier nous pouvons agir
What levers can we act upon
pour empêcher que cela se reproduise
to
ou se
prevent
perpétue.
this from happening again and perpetuating?
Well, it was the opportunity to be in conversation with people who were looking at ways to work on what it meant to be responsible in the world in the light of what happened at Auschwitz-Birkenau and other camps and the Shoah generally. And that really is an opportunity for me to explore the impact of my own research and teaching beyond the classroom and beyond my field in theology. And then there's always a draw to the place because it intensifies the issues with an immediacy that is simply inescapable.
I was born in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and experienced few wars. Just to give you sort of where I'm coming from in terms of my history, I was in the Israeli army for 2 years, studied art in the university and some philosophy and other things.
I am and I was a child
Bien
of
sûr.
an eminent victimizer family.
Moi, je suis l'enfant d'une famille de bourreaux éminents.
So this has a long, on one side, family chronology, history of
Ça
a
fait
family chronology,
Partie de l'histoire de la chronologie familiale
which is combined with a, let's say, more objective, general German history.
qui se combine avec l'histoire générale d'Allemagne.
Because you normally think about a very beautiful music and what does that have to do, all that, because this is I'm normally attacked for. What does he say? Richard Wagner wrote a very shameful and a very, for me, shocking writing which is called Judaism in Music in 1850. And this was the starting point for different other anti-Semitic writings which had a major impact on anti-Semitism in Germany and especially also on Hitler. Hitler saw Wagner always as his cultural model.
I'm at Edlon. I live in Neve Shalom, Waht El Salam, which is a village where Jewish and Palestinian of Israeli citizenship choose to live together in order to educate peace, to demonstrate everyday demonstration that it is possible to live Jewish and Palestinian together.
Well, my first impressions about being here, it was actually really difficult for me to come here because as a Palestinian in my family, there's a lot of prejudice towards Jews and this sort of feeling of please stop complaining about this Holocaust and move on. We don't want to hear about it anymore. And you know, I came with the voices of my family in the back of my head saying, Helen, you're bad for being here, because I felt like a traitor being here.
I'm Mike Township,
Je m'appelle Tonchi Magic.
president of one regional organization for protection of human rights.
Président du comité dalmatien pour les droits de l'homme
From Croatia,
de Croatie,
one of new states of ex-Yugoslavia.
un des nouveaux États de l'ex-Yougoslavie.
I'm a member
Et je
of
suis membre
majority people in Croatia,
de la majorité en Croatie.
but me and my organization trying to help to minorities.
Mais moi et mon organisation, on essaye d'aider les minorités.
I don't know, is it possible to prevent repeating of Auschwitz?
Je ne sais pas si c'est possible d'empêcher qu'Auschwitz se répète,
But together we have more chance
mais
for it.
ensemble, on a peut-être plus de chance.
אני באתי מכמה סיבות לסמינר הזה שמתקיים באושוויץ.
I came for a few reasons to the seminar which took place in Auschwitz.
א' כל רציתי להכיר את התנועה הזו שהיא מכנסת את הסמינר.
First of all, I wanted to have more knowledge about ACC.
שנית כל רציתי לדעת ולהכיר מה שעבר העם היהודי בשואה, ובמיוחד באושוויץ.
I wanted to know and to know better what happened to the Jewish people during the Second World War, and especially in the Shoah in Auschwitz.
Demain matin,
Tomorrow morning
c'est une matinée pas comme les autres.
will be a morning different than usual mornings.
J'ai l'impression que dans ces 4 heures
It seems to me that in these 4 hours
de voyage que nous allons faire ensemble,
of journey we will be on together,
vous pourrez vraiment prendre des décisions
you'll really be able to make decisions
logiques,
that are logical,
humaines,
human,
pour chacun de vous
for each one of you
et pour chacun de nous.
and for each one of us.
Je vous assure, ça n'a pas de sens.
Believe me, it doesn't make sense.
À partir de 1941,
From 1941, trains did not only come from other regions of Poland, but from 24 European countries, 28 different nationalities. The Auschwitz camp is an international camp. You all see the map behind me? You see, I told you what Auschwitz was. Remember, not just 28 barracks for a military base. You see, we met here. This is the Arbeit macht frei door. We walked there, and here we are. Here, within 7 acres, there were from 10 to 18,000 prisoners. But 2 miles northwest away, you can see Auschwitz-Birkenau. You can easily see it is several times bigger. If here there were 7 acres, at Birkenau there were 175. If here there were 18,000 prisoners, there were over 90,000 prisoners. 4 miles southwest away, you can see Auschwitz III, Bunawerke-Monowice. And under this administration, there were 40 sub-camps spread all over Silesia. This was the Auschwitz death enterprise.
So I arrived on the train, and we went to this side. This is where the train was sitting. We arrived very early in the morning. It was very dark still.
On est arrivé par le train jusqu'ici. C'était très tôt le matin, donc il faisait encore nuit.
And that was after a 3.5-day journey from Mauthausen.
C'était après donc un voyage de 3 jours et demi venant de Mauthausen.
So there were dead people in the cattle car.
Donc c'était dans des wagons à bestiaux dans lesquels il y avait déjà des gens morts.
My father was protecting me from the crush of other people.
Mon père me protégeait d'être écrasé par les autres.
So when we got here in the morning, we could see fires burning on the horizon on that side.
Quand on est arrivé, donc on pouvait voir des feux qui brûlaient à l'horizon de ce côté.
But we smelled the burning of human flesh, and we knew what it was because we've experienced it before.
Mais on pouvait quand même sentir l'odeur de la chair humaine qui brûle, alors on savait ce que c'est, on avait déjà senti ça.
So when it became light, we heard dogs barking and strange languages in German.
Quand la lumière du jour s'est mise à poindre, on a commencé à entendre des bruits, des aboiements, des de l'allemand, des langues étrangères.
And all of a sudden the car doors opened up and some prisoners rushed into the cattle car.
Et donc très subitement, les portes du wagon se sont ouvertes et des prisonniers sont arrivés en courant.
And we were chased out of the car on here.
Pour nous chasser hors du wagon, ici, sur cette plateforme.
Et nous avons franchi cette porte.
And so we walked through this door.
Et nous avons pensé que pas un de nous ne reviendrait
And we thought that not one of us would come out of it,
de cet enfer.
from this hell.
Et nous avons eu droit au discours
So we had to go through the talk
d'un tortionnaire qui nous a expliqué qu'ici,
of a tortionary who told us that here,
on ne sortait que par la cheminée,
the only way out was through the chimney,
que pas un de nous ne reviendrait.
that not one of us would get out.
So I was behind my father, and my father walked up first, and he was told to go in this direction.
J'étais juste derrière mon père, donc mon père est passé en premier et ils lui ont dit d'aller dans cette direction.
And I was told to go in this direction.
Et moi, on m'a dit d'aller dans cette direction.
So there was a moment in which we looked at each other from this distance, and
Donc il y a eu un moment où il y avait cette distance entre nous, il était là-bas, j'étais ici, et où on s'est regardé.
made eye contact, and we just knew that it was the end for us.
Donc on a eu un contact visuel et on a su que c'était la fin pour nous.
When our turn came,
Quand ça a été notre tour,
my father went to the left.
mon père est allé à gauche.
I was holding on. This is a painful part.
C'est une partie douloureuse. Je m'accrochais
At my mother.
à ma mère
And sometimes I feel guilty.
et parfois je me sens coupable.
Not sometimes, all the time.
Non, tout le temps je me sens coupable.
That maybe if I had not given her an arm,
Peut-être que si je lui avais pas pris le bras, si je lui avais pas donné le bras,
she would not have gone into the gas chamber.
elle ne serait pas allée dans la chambre à gaz.
Me, I was sent to the women's camp.
Et moi, on m'a envoyé au camp des femmes.
So this was home.
Donc c'était chez nous.
The noise and the stench.
L'odeur et le bruit.
And the lament.
The lamentation.
Uh,
The groaning.
I think, is made it, for me, I became deaf. I didn't become deaf, but I became deaf.
Je suis devenue comme sourde du bruit des lamentations.
The clothing that we were given, you have seen in pictures.
Vous avez vu dans les photos les vêtements qu'on nous a donnés.
But remember, we didn't get clean clothes.
C'était pas des vêtements propres.
So I wore mine for 2 years.
J'ai porté le mien pendant 2 ans.
And the lice which came on your body and in your clothing
Les poux qui arrivaient sur les vêtements et sur le corps
was very tough to live with.
c'était très difficile de vivre avec ça.
One of the greatest fear,
Une des plus grandes peurs,
actually there were 2 that I recall.
moi je me souviens de 2 peurs surtout.
The first one was that I would find somebody dead next to me.
La première peur, c'était de me retrouver à côté de quelqu'un mort.
And it happened, obviously.
Et bien sûr, ça s'est produit.
And the second one was that I wouldn't have the strength to get out of this place and go to Appel.
Et la deuxième peur, c'était de ne pas avoir la force de sortir d'ici pour aller à l'appel.
Because if you stayed in your bunker,
Parce que si on restait ici,
it was death.
ça voulait dire la mort.
So in that direction, what you see is the
Ce que vous voyez dans cette direction,
is the
c'est
undressing room.
la salle de déshabillage.
Take a good look at it.
Regardez-la bien.
It is the size of a football field.
C'est de la taille d'un terrain de football.
So the people were told, you are going to take a shower.
On disait aux gens qu'ils allaient prendre une douche.
Keep your clothes together.
Gardez vos vêtements rassemblés.
Keep your shoes together.
Gardez vos chaussures ensemble.
And when you're finished,
Comme ça, quand vous aurez fini,
there's going to be some hot soup for
il
you.
y aura de la soupe chaude pour vous.
You, the carpenter.
Vous, le carpentier.
You, the shoemaker.
Vous, le cordonnier.
We want to talk to you. We got work for
On
you.
veut vous parler, on a du travail pour vous.
Then, the gas chamber is over here.
La chambre à gaz est là.
And in 15 to 20 minutes,
En 20 minutes,
they were dead.
ils étaient morts.
2,000 people, can you imagine that?
2000 personnes, vous pouvez imaginer?
They say that sometimes there were more than 2,000 people.
Ils disent que parfois il y en avait plus que 2000.
Who knows 2,000 people?
Qui connaît 2000 personnes?
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דיברך יאותי וימליך מלכותי וישמח פורקני ויקרב משחי. וחייכון ויומכון וחיי דכון בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהיה שמי רבה מברך לעולם לעלמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתחומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה, שירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה דמיהן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Et je me suis surpris plusieurs fois au cours de la visite
Several times during the visit, I saw myself
à dire non,
saying no,
non,
no,
mais c'est pas possible.
it's not possible.
Ici, on a assisté, on a vécu
Here we saw and experienced
une organisation parfaite,
a perfect organization.
avec des chiffres, des reçus.
Figures, receipts.
Ça dépasse l'imaginaire.
It's beyond our imagination.
Et cependant, c'est arrivé.
Yet it happened.
Tout d'un coup, j'ai
Suddenly, I experienced shame as a human being. It is shameful for every human that all of that could have happened. Because until now, there's been killing of people for material and spiritual benefits. But without the terrible philosophy of killing people with this scientific technique at an industrial scale.
On a posé ici une question,
Here,
pardonner ou non pardonner.
The question was asked about forgiveness.
Je pense que c'est une question mal posée.
I don't think the question is, I'm sorry, the
Parce
question
que
was
qu'est-ce que ça veut dire
asked.
pardonner? Pardonner,
What does it mean to forgive?
ça veut dire pas tirer des conséquences.
It means to not have
Alors,
consequences.
s'il faut se demander oublier ou pas oublier, alors
think-
ici je suis complètement décidé.
think
Nous
what the-
n'avons pas le droit.
I think we need to ask ourselves the question rather is about forgetting or not forgetting, and I'm very committed, determined here.
Yes. Alors je dis, nous n'avons pas le droit de l'oublier.
I think we don't have the right to forget.
As I said, I was very, very scared. I had no idea if I could speak or not. I was surrounded by love. I was surrounded by people that really wanted to hear what we had to say, by people who had chosen to come and chosen to make a difference and chosen to learn.
I was afraid. I was full of fear. I felt, how will I react on Auschwitz? Now, also, it was very important for me having shared it in group, especially, with Bernard, who, in his way, brought Auschwitz to me like yesterday.
So now that you see photographs of people,
Donc maintenant que vous avez vu des photos,
is that the 6 million number,
ça veut dire que ce nombre 6 millions,
which I can't understand,
que moi je ne peux pas comprendre,
and having experienced this,
et ayant vécu ça ici,
now you see faces of human beings.
maintenant vous pouvez le relier à des visages d'êtres humains.
So it is not any longer an abstraction to you.
Si bien que ce n'est plus une abstraction.
I think that for humanity, the Shoah is the object of meditation for the entire century. Because it is the degradation of man and the revelation of the evil power in us. That is in us. If I had lived then, if I had lived in a Nazi family, I too could have been a Nazi.
But Hitler was on the right track with one thing.
Mais Hitler était sur la bonne voie avec une chose.
He knew the power of clarity.
Il connaissait la puissance de la clarté.
The problem was
Le problème,
nobody else offered an equal clear vision.
c'est que personne d'autre n'a offert une autre vision tout aussi claire.
If one person can create that kind of clarity and achieve that horrible of an outcome in that short period of time,
Si une personne arrive à être suffisamment claire pour atteindre un tel résultat en si peu de temps,
can we believe
peut-on croire
that we can accomplish
qu'on peut accomplir
that much and more
autant et sinon plus
in a positive direction?
vers une direction positive?
And what I wrote when Claire asked the question about what would you hope for in 50 years?
Et ce que moi j'ai écrit quand Claire a posé la question, quel est votre rêve, votre espoir pour les 50 ans qui viennent,
Is a belief that war is not an option
c'est d'acquérir la croyance que la guerre n'est pas une option
for anything.
pour quoi que ce soit.
and that affects every interaction that we have. That we have these. That we no longer also have these mini wars.
Et ça affecte toutes nos relations, toutes nos interactions, si bien qu'on cesse d'avoir toutes ces mini-guerres.
When we clash between two belief systems.
Quand deux systèmes de croyances rentrent en collision.
And that we do not use power.
Et qu'on n'utilise pas le pouvoir.
As a power over.
C'est-à-dire le pouvoir de l'un sur.
Rather than power to.
Mais plutôt que l'on révèle.
That is power over somebody else versus power to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
C'est-à-dire le pouvoir sur l'autre et plutôt que le pouvoir donné à accomplir ce qu'on veut accomplir.
Le jamais, jamais plus.
The never, never again.
C'est un point d'apprentissage.
Is a learning point.
Car je n'ai pas d'autre point de repère.
Because I have no other landmarks.
Que celui d'apprendre.
Than the one of learning.
Apprendre et commencer à faire tout ce qui est nécessaire.
To learn how and start doing whatever is necessary.
À chaque instant.
At each moment.
Pour que ce qui s'est passé.
What is necessary so that what happened.
Et d'autres choses qui se passent encore aujourd'hui.
And what is already happening also today.
Ne puisse plus se passer demain.
No longer possibly happen tomorrow.
Parce que ce qui sera nécessaire pour l'écarter,
because what will be necessary to push it away,
l'empêcher,
to prevent it,
le conjurer,
stop it,
aura été fait.
Will have been done.
Et que cela soit un tournant durable pour un espace d'humanité.
We would like it to be a strong and long turning point for humanity.
We can help you with this terrible bloody example.
Avec cet exemple terriblement ensanglanté.
What nationalism
de ce que le nationalisme
with elements of racism
avec des éléments de racisme
can make.
Peut faire.
There seem to be all too many parallels between the behaviors and thinking of what created Auschwitz and what I see in organizations today. And while that has been bubbling in my mind for probably 10 years, it has come to exquisite consciousness and clarity by being here and listening to the stories of the survivors.
Try and make as many people as I know.
Et d'essayer d'amener autant de personnes que je connais.
Knowledgeable of the horrors that happen when we're silent.
D'amener à leur connaissance les horreurs qui se passent quand on reste silencieux.
Ce que je trouve formidable dans les rencontres,
what I found wonderful with these gatherings is that today, tomorrow, I will have possibilities that I wouldn't have expected 2 days ago. Because I met people here that I'm very interested in, with projects that are already started, or people whom I'd like to do this with. That's wonderful. When we commit in everyday life, in our own world, to not letting the same causes produce the same effects, we do not at all feel like laughing. These are extremely serious matters. After having seen what I have seen in these 2 days, I will do whatever I can so that the maximum number of people possible come see Auschwitz as an essential part of their education.
I hope it's possible to use some of methods of your seminar in Russia. I hope in principle, very important to hold same seminar in Russia now, because the situation, political situation, activity, different fascism and nationalities organization now, it's very big dangerous for the democrat, not only in Russia, but around the world.
You know, I go back to the American Indian. The American Indian, I've heard, when they made important decisions, they tried to understand the impact of those decisions for 6 generations. What would happen to my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and so forth, 6 generations out. And they discussed that before they decided on important issues. I don't know what I would like for 50 years. I am working on that. But I would like important decisions to worry about 50 years in the future and the impact that it has. That's what I would like.
I think one group, a second group, a third group makes a drop and then another drop, eventually reaching the critical mass which can really change things. Everyone, each one of us counts.
I feel extremely invigorating. I'm very grateful for having been given this opportunity, because for me it was a very, very big step. I spoke more than I've ever done since I came out of Birkenau. So it's a strange thing to say. Going to Birkenau was a wonderful experience, but it was for me.